Okay, so the purpose of tonight's meeting is I want to be able to show you guys how you can leverage Thinker to acquire new clients. Any kind of technical questions we're going to reserve for the calls next week. And if you have any pressing issues, we have obviously help.thinker.ai to be able to submit any kind of help requests or ticket requests that you may have. If the rest of you guys are here, if you don't mind turning on your photos, it'd be cool to be able to see your smiling faces. Hey, Dana. And I'm just gonna kind of just let a couple minutes go by. We'll wait till it's 5 o'clock right now, Pacific time. I'll let like a couple more people come in because I want to make sure that you guys have the leverage that you deserve to do two things. Number one, how you can leverage it for your own benefit. And number two, how do we get clients that you can onboard to leverage it to help them too? Is that fair?
Well,
Sound like a good plan?
can I ask you a quick question?
Please.
Um, just I need clarification. Now, I signed up for Go High Level when they had their special for $48, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Do I need Go High Level if I'm part of Thinker in your group? Do I still
Yes.
need that?
Yes. Yes. It's
Oh,
an
okay.
integral part of
I
it. Yes.
okay. I didn't know what was what. So
Yeah. Yeah. You'll need both. Welcome everybody. I'm just gonna give it a little bit, like one more minute, and then we'll get to work here. Yeah, because we've got. I want to see. Like, has anybody brought? Like, is anybody using it right now to book any appointments yourselves? Like, have you guys leveraged it to maybe go after your databases, do a reactivation campaign just yet? If you're unmuted, don't worry about it. Just put a one in the chat if you have leveraged this and implemented it, or just put a two if you haven't. Cool, awesome. And if there's any kind of stories that you've leveraged or any success that you've had, because the way I'm looking at this is like when we deploy AI into a database, whether it's ours or somebody else's, we just put our hands up. We deploy it, we set it up, and then off it goes. And when it goes out, the result is the calls we don't want to make, we don't have time to make, we can't get others to make, they're being made. They're tending to our leads. We're old enough. We've spent a lot of money, not only money, but time, our two most precious resources. Time for most is a lot more precious than just the money. In some other areas, it's equally as important. But this allows us to leverage the things that we earned so much. Like if I have leads that are going back years and years and years, and they're not tended to, Thinker can do it. If I have leads that are brand new and I can't reach them in immediate time frame, Thinker can do it. If I get a lead at 5 in the morning when I'm sleeping, Thinker can book it for me. So it solves a massive, massive problem. And if you've ever called a business that you wanted to pay money to, and then you went to number two, then number three and four on Google, and you ended up hiring one of those first three people lost money. Jobs are comprised of 62% of small businesses in America. They're struggling more than ever. Why is it? It's because they don't have the capacity to hire. They don't have the training, the technology to implement. And I feel like this is one of the most important things that this solves for is to be able to put the two parties together to be able to do commerce and make more money. Because there's an inequality. Obviously, there's the rich, and then there's the have-nots, if you will. It's expanding. The rich are getting richer. The middle class and the rest are getting a little bit poorer, if you will. Now we can collapse that gap. And I know that sounds like a big, broad statement and a hoorah statement, but that's the actual truth. You show me a roofer that's doing $100,000, I'll show you a roofer with Thinker that can do $1 million with the same amount of effort. They're just missing their leads, not following up, disorganized as hell, and we can solve for that. That's why it's so important, and that's why I have this drive, this passion. That's why I've been on Zooms from 6 in the morning to 5 p.m. just talking about freaking Thinker. I think it's the future. I think it's the now. I think it's going to be a dominant force. I think it's going to be highly quality, and we're building it with you guys along the way as well. So all your feedback is what's been listened to loud and clear. We are definitely paying attention to everybody. Now I want to go into a couple of the client wins. We'll go into our own personal wins because I've been taking a lot of feedback calls. Mark, you may have heard this earlier because you were on the 2 o'clock call. I kind of alluded to it, and Christian brought it up from Australia. We brought in one of our agency partners, and the way we brought him in is it came from a straight up no, which makes it a little bit more fun to talk about. We were talking about doing the core four. We were talking about building their go high level systems with a custom build. And I was in touch with their rep that wasn't a decision maker. I was able to acquire the decision maker's information, and I was asked to copy everybody in. I got a hard no. We're doing a hard pass on go high level. We'd have no need for it. And all of a sudden, out of thin air, their whole systems are shit. They're every four clients they bring on, 3 cancel within the first 90 days. That huge leak. They have actively at any given time anywhere between 80 and 100 with a huge loss rate. So my response back was when we put a fork in the conversation, I said, "That's too bad. I was hoping to talk to you about voice AI." My differentiator was that sentence, and they had just told me, "We don't want to talk to you anymore." From that point on, the CEO immediately called my cell phone, which is in my email signature, and said, "What's voice AI and how do we use it?" Explained it to him, immediate client. Had I gone with a custom build, I would have been, I'm dead in the water. I flipped it to voice AI immediately, dangled the carrot in front of them. It's the hottest topic in the moment. And now we're going to go back into to solving those systems. So the foot in the door got somebody who doesn't want what they need to bring them in with something that they really, really want and they also need. Now, the story continues into they have that anywhere between 80 and 100 accounts at any given month. I'm the project manager in the sense of I'll call them once every 3 weeks. Don't have to do much more than that. Check in on them, make sure that they're smiling, their clients are happy, their issues are solved. And then we go into how many clients do you think you're going to be boarding this month? They've boarded 9 clients already. The notes, let me make sure I have the right documentation here. 2 to 3 new accounts coming on in the month of December, their slowest month of the year for their HVAC. In addition to that, in January, they're expecting approximately 20 new clients to be onboarded. This is one account. This is all what everybody's capable. But I'm not telling you the story because we're lining our pockets to make money. I'm telling you the story because this is all in front of you guys as well. This could be your accounts too. That's why I want everybody to be empowered with being visible, being open to understanding what the circumstances are of what people want, need, and desire by properly positioning yourself. Even if you do something else that you're passionate about, this can get you that open door conversation to get into the big boys of making it easier to sell your products and services and bundle them together with whatever else you do. I'm not going to tell you what your products are. Those are yours. I'm going to tell you the lens of what Thinkers opened up for us. Now, on the other hand, so we have the HVAC. So I went into, I was talking to his CTO, really, really cool guy. One of his accounts, they decided to launch approximately 1,500 of a dial campaign with one of their smart lists that they organized in GHL, which is high level. These are 6 to 7 month old leads. Like I said, approximately 1,500 leads. The literal response he gave me was, I booked him 30 appointments. The contractor said, stop it because I'm too busy. So now we can see that contractor, absent of thinker, what would happen with those 1,500 leads, you think? Anybody have any comment on that? If you want to just type it in the chat, you can tell me. If he's
They
too
would have
busy
never
to
been
talk,
contacted.
yeah,
Most
they're
of
gone.
them.
Yeah, they're dead. Yeah, decayed, right? He would have just ruined his own, shot himself in the foot, not knowing that he had gold. So he turned his own trash into his own treasure by implementing money he would have never recovered had he not implemented this. So people are think about the life of a small business owner, the stress that they may feel at the end of the day, the beginning of the day before you see them. It's probably not the most remarkable life that they thought they'd be living, but it could be, because there's got to be a better way, right? We hear that on Shark Tank. There's got to be a better way. My belief system is so strong that I believe that Thinker is such a big opportunity for a lot of us. I'm not saying it's the only technology that they need. I think it's the most important thing that they need right here, right now to impact revenue, and revenue now. So those are some of the coolest stories that we've had. We can go into like Airbnb clients that have been using this, to wealth management groups, which Mohan, before we partnered with him, had brought on a small grouping. I got the pleasure to do a student spotlight or a client spotlight with one of them. The beauty is when people pay attention, when people pay attention, they're empowered with knowledge. Once they're empowered with knowledge, they control their own destiny. Then there's going to be people that have their head in the sand. And that just simply means they'll have a powerful tool. They just refuse to do anything with it and call it a shiny object. And that's not the case. That's why we do so many of these lives here. We want everybody to have a good onboarding experience and improve it along the way with all your feedback. We have video resources to empower people to do anything they want at midnight, 2 a.m. on Saturday or Sunday without us, because the whole idea is making this really simple and extremely plug and play for everybody. That's the mission. That's the vision. I think this is a tool that every single SMB can own. And also going into, there's 2 selling processes that I like to really do. When it comes to maybe a little bit of a bigger account. And then I'm going to slow down in a second so we can do a little bit of Q&A or ask for any clarity should you want to. Now, if I find an angle, like Cody and I were just talking before this live, there's a company in Canada called Real Estate Webmasters. Why did we bring that up? It's because he said his wife wants to get a new website that's a little bit more sophisticated than what the broker provides her. My first reaction is, okay, if you're gonna have your wife be the client of another company, what we now need to do is make them our client and introduce Thinker at the same time. Let his wife start to have the conversation, decide on who the vendor is going to be. Once she's decided, then we want to jump in the conversation. We already know that they don't have this type of technology. If we can now get her to buy the website, implement Thinker through her website, now we have client number 1. Now we're going to go into other people within the community, show off and saying, hey, look at this new person that just got a brand new website. Fill in the inquiry form, watch it call the lead immediately. Now we're going to be like, oh, wow, let's get some more people on the vendor that they choose. All we have to do is Google search with some code. I forgot the actual characters, but you can find the site credits of a website very easily. And then all we have to do is call them and say, hey, I just signed up Cody's wife with a website. You're using the same platform, but did you know you can add AI to it so you never leak a lead? It'll immediately call you and give you listing details. Now we get client number 2, 3, and 4. So we do a little bit of hard work. We roll up our sleeves. Once we have 5 to 10 customers, we're ready to go to the head honcho. That's called bottom up selling. Get enough raving fans, even if it's just 10, to take over a database that could have 3, 4, 5,000, maybe 50,000 members. And that's how the show goes. Now we can make one living off one lead source, just being a vendor, not an official partner, by being a recommended, trusted party that they can refer to make sure that their clients stay sticky on their platform and also ours at the same time. Make sense? So that's called the bottom up approach. I personally don't go to the top of a food chain ever unless they've approached me. Bottom up is my way. It's very simple. The next part is top down selling, the opposite of what I just described. If I see an agency in a fancy city, typically I look in a richer zip code: Beverly Hills, Santa Monica, San Francisco, Los Altos, Austin, Texas, Manhattan, New York. I look at Miami, Florida. There's tens of thousands in all those cities combined. I now approach the business owners and offer our services, saying, hey, could this be of value for you since you run Facebook paid ads? Have you ever had a client terminate a relationship due to the fact that they weren't getting the lead quality that they wanted to? But in reality, you know that there actually are quality. Would you be against the idea of testing what we have right now and implementing Thinker into a call campaign? They click the ad, they fill in the lead form, no fancy landing pages, and it immediately calls and books the sales opportunity for what, quote unquote, were not good leads to qualified candidates that had immediate action, immediate follow-up, and the ability to do commerce with that business. We're connecting 2 parties in real time, which is the only time in today's world. We can thank Mr. Zuckerberg. We can thank the TikTok people. Whoever made stories 15 seconds caused impatience. People want things now, maybe Amazon. People want things now. They don't want things in 10 minutes. When they make a call, they didn't call to say, voicemail, please. They made a call to say, can I learn about your service and how do I buy? There's some level of intent when somebody makes an inquiry. Make sense? Now, just on these two approaches, the top down, the bottom up, do you feel that this is something that you guys desire to do? Is this your approach? Is this what you want to go after? Yes? Okay, perfect. Yeah, because this is Dana, go ahead.
Yeah, whenever you were talking about top down, you had mentioned um, uh, giving them a test. You want to test it out. Is that sending them to the demo, or is it
Yes.
actually okay?
Sending them to the demo. And
Okay.
then yes, exactly. And I make things a little bit overly simple. I'm just gonna pull up my Facebook page in a second. Cody will appreciate this or hate me because I constantly send him my version of Google Docs, which are drawings on a piece of paper with a pen or a pencil. And I say, here's the Google Doc, make it happen. I'm a little bit old school in some circumstances and a little bit tech forward in others. But this is literally what I would send a client is a link to my Facebook page to just look at of what they could be doing. And I'm just scrolling through to find it as I'm talking right now. Right here. Okay. So November 9th. All right. So this right here on my share screen. I couldn't have a simpler approach that takes me the easiest amount of time. So here's the process. Add, capture, thank you page, call to actions, voice AI will call, goes on your pipeline stage, triggers your email and text campaigns if you have them. It can your human setters can trail it. You can do a DBR to follow up if you don't reach them or need to follow up again, retarget them with more ads, and then you maximize your workflow and your time and money. There's a business plan for every single agency that ever ran a single ad, right, on a quote unquote napkin plan. Here, I'll just give the post the link. Right, how do I the copy button? Okay, so I'll put this inside of the thread so you guys can pull it up as you wish. Now, you'd be surprised how many people I've literally drawn on a piece of paper, their whole entire roadmap as my sales pitch, as my proposal, and then I give them the price. Just a drawing. Very, very simple. Of course, we have like our follow-ups in terms of how to sign a contract and whatnot, but our simplification of our process has made us be able to pivot and move fairly quickly. But think about how many people run ads. Like, can you guys share what industries you serve in the chat, please? Financial advisors. Okay, cool. That was who I did that spotlight with earlier. As soon as it's ready to go, I'll make sure that it gets into the community so you guys can see the value and you can get creative on storytelling of other financial advisors that are using this, because there's so many different wealth management groups that don't necessarily have a corporate hierarchy to prevent their own independent agents from being successful, which is pretty cool to find those. Yeah, dentists and med spas. Yeah, those everybody needs. I mean, dentists are, if you call a dentist right now and you have an all-on-4 or an implant or a root canal even, we're talking about over $2,000 to $100,000 services. They're missing those calls. Right. So that's an opportunity that can take after hours calls. Those are so important, especially personal injury attorneys. Anybody who uses a call center that's not equipped to be able to have consistency, knowledge, power, and represent the brand, all open opportunities, complete open opportunities. Because I remember I was disgusted with Zillow one day, and this was a while ago. Phil, I was actually truly interested in a property, and I thought I was going to get to the listing agent by direct inquiry on the form in itself. I just made that assumption that that's how they did it. And went to a call center. I got an immediate call back, which was pretty cool. I was like, damn, they're already calling me back. That's pretty nice. Call center rep. Sounded like I was talking to somebody that hated their job from AT&T. That's how poor of a quality it was. I was so underwhelmed with it that I was no longer interested, just because the first touch point and the first experience was somebody who hated their job. And I can hear it, I can feel it, I can touch it through the phone. It was just an awful experience. I'm like, what kind of shit is this? Pardon my French. What kind of crap is this? I'm looking at a multi-million-dollar property and you guys are giving me this person calling me. That's disrespectful to me, in my opinion. I figure that $1 million agent should be having $1 million experience. Next, please. Right. So that's the attitude. From interest from a largest purchase I can make in my entire life to not interested in a heartbeat of a second. That's today's world. Okay. So those are some of the just the simplest selling strategies. So all the industries that you guys just mentioned here. So we got chiropractic, physical therapy clinics and massage, dentists and med spas, HVAC and home services, contractors, roofers, stretch lab. Oh, stretch lab is great. Financial advisors, throw in Orange Theory Fitness, F45s, there's yada, yada. They go on and on and on and on and on. Now the opportunity is, have you ever taken a gander over at the Facebook ads library and put in a keyword and typed in your industry and saw everybody who's running ads? And if you see those people running ads, guaranteed those agencies are changing every 3 to 6 months. So essentially that means those people who are running ads, since they're switching agencies, there's a happiness factor missing. Maybe Thinker's the solution, because at the end of the day, why does somebody fire a marketing agency? Is it because they don't make an ROI? Is it because the leads stink? Is it because they can't reach the leads? What if we flip the accountability that the agencies are the right people and the clients are the wrong people? What if we said, you're not calling my leads on time? Data says if you call them within one minute, no longer is 15 minutes, which it was in 2003. 15 minutes was the time frame. That's 2003. And that's probably before my time. That's when I really started selling. They'll see an uplift of bookings and increased sales if they have a 1 minute to call ratio over what they're doing. Is that something that would motivate somebody to have 20% more people on a calendar by doing it in 1 minute? Well, how do you do it? We don't have the manpower. Don't need it. Reallocate that manpower to a position that they enjoy more, because if they don't have the capability to do it, technology does. Has anybody ever used ChatGPT? Yeah. How many people use it every single day? Now, knowing that you know that you can actually, best friend, yes, I like it too. It's one of my best friends right now. So lately, almost daily. Now, it's almost like you're starting your day at like, I don't know, let's go with miles per hour, 50, 60 miles per hour. If I talk to ChatGPT, just give it some basic information. Like, in fact, I just said I'm interviewing a financial advisor to give them understand their experiences using our voice AI product. Ask me some questions that would show them how to like whatever I said, how to enhance their experience. And it just spit out categorically 13 questions. The 13 questions I asked were the ones that ChatGPT said to me in an instant. So now I wouldn't go. The old me would have been like, hey, Jamie, write me up some questions that I can ask on this interview, because I got shit to do today and I'm unprepared. I got called to call, get it done for me, because I'm going to be literally I'm going to have 2 minutes to jump on the Zoom with this person. I need to look like I'm prepared. I'd have to wait. What would I pay that person? 2 hours of time? What would she do? Research? I have no idea, because that's the direction I gave. I just need it by this time. Is it going to take that 4 hours? And I only thought it would take 15 or 20 minutes. No, ChatGPT will spit it out right now. My point being is we're using these tools to make it enhanced and faster. And voice AI is the ChatGPT of sales. And that's the most important thing. Things that have helped us significantly is the content that we do. We don't sit on our hands. We do not think about it. We leverage ChatGPT for our ideas. We tell the ideas. We document our stories that happen today. My only post of the day is the only one I've had time for. It was a screenshot of something that already happened today of our Thinker team doing an all hands on deck meeting. Don't give a shit about the engagement. I already know that there's going to be a ton of views on it and nobody's going to like it, or very few people, maybe some comments. I haven't even looked at it because I don't care. My volume of posts are going to outweigh that because people are paying attention. People are watching. I'm going to talk about it because I believe in it. If I talk about it enough, they'll believe in it. Once they believe in it, they contact me or I will contact them. My free profile on Facebook, which gave me a free media company by myself, leveraging their platform that I do not own. They gave me millions of people to be able to have the opportunity to see as we leverage our content and get better at what we do. People will say, all right, well, maybe we'll level up like a Hormozy came from nothing to hero, a Gary V. Whatever happens, happens. We don't control virality, but we do control our narrative. And that's why we just simply talk about it. And it could be as simple as a post. I'm going to pick on a student of ours in our GSD coaching program side, this gentleman named Alvin. His content is so bad it works. It's kind of like Costco's are so ugly it works, right? He'll say, thinking about doing marketing for roofers. I got a roofer. My campaigns failed. Oh my God, the campaign worked. Roofer made his money back. The roofer wants to increase his budget. This is like he's using it as a journal, but what has he done? I'm an advertiser for who? Roofers, right? That's it. These guys are doing, I don't know how much revenue. What are they doing? I'm not going to pick on Cody just yet, but I believe they're in and around above $100,000 a month. I know that. I don't know if it's $250,000. I know that that was a number that they threw out there at one point in time, but agencies sometimes have choppy waters. But the point being is they've identified their own identity so they can talk about it. Loudest mouths do get fed, believe it or not. Not annoying mouths, but loudest mouths. And that means frequency. So we leverage our tools to our disposal. Some people are cold call heroes. I was once one. No longer do I want to be making 100 dials a day. I don't have the energy, but now I'm leveraging the audience. We have time and we have money. I'll spend some time using my organic profile and the relationships I've built, and then we'll use our money to be able to expand the audiences and get people to be unaware of who we are to aware to champions through our journey, our flywheel approach. Now, a start over, if this was my product and I was in the shoes of somebody that was an agency just approaching and buying Thinker, I would think niche. That's just my preference. I would master one niche. And then if I found a reason where I wouldn't trip over my feet to expand my audience, I would expand it to broad. That's what I did with the agency. Went from real estate for a decade, and then I expanded it outwards and onwards to different industries. It didn't break our spokes because we had SOPs tied to a 9 really well, is what I mean. And we had a good team that can deliver, that had the business acumen to understand multiple industries. So I didn't have to be a bottleneck in my own business where everything filtered through me and I can go to bed at night without giving a shit if there was going to be a problem or not, because the team was well trained and well equipped to take care of it. So that's like kind of the future pace, if you will. Things take time, like the Heinz ketchup commercial. Good things come to those who wait, but we control the length of time. The commitment to the time, to the success you've told yourself is really what you hold yourself accountable for. Anybody who fails in a product, it's probably because of commitment and effort. And then they call it one thing, a shiny object syndrome. And that's not true. You could, like the guy who made toothpicks. I mean, he's doing fairly well. That's not a shiny object because it's a commitment to getting shit out of people's teeth. Right? So as long as you commit to it and you master it and you get good at it, you can only win. It just may take a little bit more time. And I'm the same exact age as if Kobe Bryant were still alive. So I kind of grew up with him being my distant best friend whenever we didn't know each other. I was kind of like a consummate follower of his. I loved his mentality, his attitude. No matter how big, how bad you are, I'm going to win. So it's kind of a mentality once you get into business too. It doesn't mean everybody has to be that intense. But my staff and other people would say, well, you have so many more years of experience. I said, well, it only took me about a couple months to get really good at one thing. Then I got really good at something else while increasing my strengths. I looked at skill as a staircase. If I learned how to sell as my first stair, and then I learned how to market, then I learned strategy. Every day I'd start back at staircase number 1, because if I don't use it, I lose it. So it doesn't mean just because I elevated, I have to not do the basics anymore. Kind of like, why do you think Steph Curry shoots 1,000 shots a day? Free throws, layups, 3-pointers. It's because he wants to make them when it counts the most, right? And that's important. Skill requires repetition. And Tony Robbins talks about, or probably well before him, repetition is the mother of, does anybody know the last word of that sentence? Repetition is the mother of. I'll wake you guys up. As soon as I hear some answers in the chat, then I will move on. Invention, mother of learning, mother of success. Repetition is the mother of success. That's why I repeat myself every single day. I practice every single day so I can impact every single day, not just the people that I'm serving. That's definitely an important part to it, but also my commitment to my own personal goals that I have for myself, because I'm the only one that knows them. And I'm the only one that knows if I gave it all or if I didn't. And if I have to expand them, I have to do a root cause analysis of why. And when I want to make money in business, I want to work hard. And then when I'm not working, I want to enjoy the fruits of the labor. So it comes with a little bit of intensity, but then also, it also doesn't have to be that way. It could also be built around your lifestyle, not mine, not Cody's, not Dean's, not Dana's. You pick your why and you pick your income, you pick your pathway, and we're here to help you guide there. And I think that with the innovations that have come before us, like as just as recent as 6 years ago with high level, and then the expansion into making AI and thinker and voice AI and the technologies available to the mass market opened up a huge opportunity. So we can capitalize of it, or some people are just honestly quite frankly are going to watch it go by, and then in 2-3 years they're going to kind of talk about it. Oh, we missed out on that opportunity. Kind of like we talk about stocks or Bitcoin or whatever it is. But the most profitable venture we can always do is our own businesses, because that gets to fuel anything we want. Our vehicle to what our goals are, our vehicle to our freedom, whether it's buying a property, a car, paying for college tuition, paying off debt, just blowing money on bottle service, to each their own. Okay, so now I want to stop my monologue for a little bit and bring it back down to how can I serve you guys today? Can you give us a few examples of some really good emails to send prospects? Okay, good question. While I keep asking your questions, does anybody have anything that you want to come off mute for? And I'm going to look for a document that I did create.
I have something.
Yeah, please.
You're talking about bottom up. I don't know if this to be under the similar idea. I've called a couple of the stretch places and they said, please leave your name and phone number. Well, one place I didn't leave it and I just went over there. So today I went back and I did put an agent together of us answering the phone for them. So I have a meeting with them after the first of the year to help them with their services.
It's amazing. That's
Do you
amazing.
think I mean, the idea of just calling a bunch of businesses and they say, please leave your name and phone number, then call them back? What do you think?
Oh yeah, if you're getting their voicemail, absolutely. It's a
Okay.
great in the door. Like it's remarkable. Like I tell the story, and it's a true story from like when I tried to get my I bought a Tesla. I forgot what year, maybe a year and a half ago or something, but I didn't think you have to charge the damn thing. I've never had a electric car. I thought you just plug it in the wall, but that's not the case. So I had to get the thing built or put in the box. I don't even know the terminology. That's how unsophisticated of a buyer was, and that's how quick I was willing to buy, because I don't know what the hell I'm buying. And so the fourth person answered the phone, he got the job because I was like, damn, these guys don't answer the freaking phone. Then next thing you know, $750. Then I got talking to the guy who installed it. And I'm like, oh, well, thanks for doing it. It took an hour, and I just invaded in his privacy a bit. I'm like, what do you get paid for this? $100 for the job. So he made 100 in an hour. Good for him. I'm like, out of curiosity, if I were to buy that part to install, what would I pay for that? 150. So I'm like, all right, 250. So the owner of the company that just delegated it to the guy who just goes out and do the work literally made $500. And then I had to get a second one for another property. So there's $1,500 or $1,000 profit for a guy to answer his phone and then also send his whatever installer out. Pretty cool thing by just answering the phone. But the first three people didn't answer, so I repeat purchased from the same person. And that was a cool thing. Same thing with the roof over here. Bunch of people don't answer the phone. Hired a stranger, got it installed. Too bad for the people that didn't. I mean, that's unfortunate. It's a lot of money. And that's just the world we live in, is that people they don't like, I mean, people who are even our clients that want to hear from us and want to meet with us, and they don't answer their phones now. You know what I mean? If it's not in their phone book, they don't answer it. Well, guess what? There's a solution for that.
Mm-hmm.
No, I guarantee this. The girl who or the guy or whomever works a receptionist job at any company, nowhere in their mind do they think they are a salesperson. They're an information booth. What time do you
Mm-hmm.
close? What are your directions? Thank you. Bye. They didn't get name, email, phone number. What hurts in your mouth? What are you, if it's a divorce attorney, what kind of case are you looking at? How urgent is this? No discovery at all. Right. But that could all been handled, especially I love after hours because when people have jobs like a barber or a Chipotle worker or a Bank of America worker or whatever, a 9 to 5er, when are they going to be available to do their own life, to do the things that they need to do, like shop or get a haircut or book an appointment or contact a plumber, right? It's after 5 p.m. most likely, presumably.
Well, what would you say if I call back? What would be the wording that you would use, or uh, just something short? So give
For the
me an idea.
stretch labs, they're franchised, right?
Right.
Say the way I would look at it is I would say, hey, I called you the other night and I know that you guys
Mm-hmm.
were open, but I still got the voicemail. And I want to come by to check it out, but I also wanted to see if I can show you something that might help solve that. So you never miss a call and it can book appointments on your own. I just want to give you a free demo, but I do want to come in any event because I do have a little bit of back pain that I'd like to
Mm-hmm.
discuss with you if that's your
Then
angle,
use it.
meaning
Yeah.
proximity.
Yeah. Just use basically any business that I call that doesn't answer the phone, call them back next day with her and kind of just have a conversation. Said, I wanted to talk to you, but you weren't there. And you know what happens then? You hang up like everybody else does. And I think I can solve that problem for you. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
okay.
And they just need like I need to get or you all or we my process and style. You guys can modify it however you feel. I must
Mm-hmm.
have them go through the demo. And then
Okay.
I now and when I'm niched, like ChatGPT can leverage me with assets and content and whatnot to help build in lead magnets or value-based information, and I can refine it with my own self. It takes in and around an hour to come up with ideas to put it into execution nowadays with AI involved. But I can position myself as an expert because like if I can demonstrate with a quick Google search how many small businesses miss calls on a daily basis. If you guys want to do that Google search, tell me what you guys come up with. My last search was 62%. And then you can maybe in that related searches, it might give you more data that you can go down a little bit of a rabbit hole on. Maybe it'll have how much money's being lost through missed calls. Is it billions or trillions? And now that we have a broad stroke statistic that we can now put in our repertoire of information, maybe we might want to Google search a specific industry and see what that looks like. I use the broad stroke numbers because they're bigger and it allows me to tell a story around it. And the way I tell a story is like, hey, just out of curiosity, like let's say you had a plumbing leak, and where would you go to find a plumber on Google? Like, what if they didn't answer? What would you do next? They'd probably set the next person down the list. Say exactly, this is what that's supposed to solve for. So we never miss a call, always book appointments. This is capable of doing inbound, answering as a receptionist, live transfer after hours, should you ever want that service turned on, or it can do full outbound, meaning however long you've been running your business and however much money you've spent on all the marketing, all your people, all your sales reps, all your commissions that you've ever paid, all of that can now be monetized by doing an outbound marketing campaign with the click of a few buttons, a little bit of a setup, and off we go to the races. Now, would you be against the idea of seeing a demonstration on how this can improve your business workflow without having the overwhelm of a crazy technology? Because I also have to keep in mind a lot of business owners are leading into the twilight years of their career. One of the things is that a lot of them firmly believe is can't teach an old dog new tricks. So I sometimes give them comparisons. Like, hey, when you listen to music, do you have a cassette player? Well, of course not. I'm like, well, what do you listen to? And if they say Spotify, they've already done the hard work for me. They've already adapted to technology. So I just know my audience to be able to set up my next process. Because the last thing I want somebody to do is use overwhelm as a reason to not succeed. That's why everything is simple. That's why I'm going to go backwards on this hat and lean forward. It says voice AI made simple, right? And that's the motto. In fact, I kind of was poking a little fun with Mohan that on my agency that's been around since 2004, our slogan is digital marketing made simple. But he was not aware of that. So it's kind of a coincidence, which is kind of funny. But that's the whole thought process is simple. Our audience is not going to be somebody who wants to go out and develop and code and do something or looking at a bigger picture. The Fortune 5 million. Now, will this work for the Fortune 500 and 100? Absolutely. And I'll tell you right now, call Costco, see who answers the phone, see how good of an experience that is. It's going to be awful. No one will answer. Try optometry. Guarantee they won't answer. Call the tire center. Don't answer. Call the pizza center. Don't answer. All right. So there's definitely opportunity at every stage of life right now, or a variety of businesses. Those are the home runs. Like obviously Costco would be a dream client, Cheesecake Factory, Nike, et cetera, yada, yada, yada. But the reality is we want to be able to utilize our time and resources most effectively. I like to be able to get in touch with people that I know I can reach. Small businesses are very easy because they are primarily available. If I go to a local restaurant, single location, there's a very good opportunity that the person who brings the food to my table might be the owner. There could be a good opportunity that the person who is sitting right at the table on their computer is the owner, who does the cashier services is the owner, right? Why is he doing it? Business isn't going so well. Why is it not going well? Because they don't have the marketing. Doesn't mean they're not missing. That doesn't mean they're missing calls necessarily during business hours, but they have no way to proactively go after their customers that were already happy at their service and their business. And they're not doing something consistent, which is our job, our mission, our vision. Is it our obligation to help them or just know that they have a problem, know that we have a solution, and let them fail without saying anything? So I mean, that's what I would ring true in all my guys' heads when we had a physical office, not this remote world that we live in today, physical office. And some of the people had little imposter syndrome amongst themselves. And I explained to them, if you believe in our company, then we're on the same page. If you don't, you can walk out that door. That was the first conversation. That would change the belief system. We believe in the product. Then I said, what's your issue? Okay, they can't afford it. Who are you to determine what somebody can and can afford? That's not your responsibility. That's actually, you're hurting people. Now, if you saw a business owner that you know will go out of business in 3 years, bleed their whole family's money away because they borrowed it from friends and family, knowing that our service could help them, are you willing to go to bed at night knowing that you weren't willing to walk in and say hello? So it would change their mindset to obligation of helping and serving versus just feeling like they can come and go as they please. So do you want to let someone fail or do you want to have everybody win? So pick a path because there's only two choices here. And once they picked my path, the win, we want to serve everybody. It changes something in their ecosystem. Their physiology changes, their motivation, their desires change. And that's what's important. Because if we're motivated, feel like we're on top of the world. We feel really good. And when we're demotivated, we can sink to the bottom of the ocean. And it comes down to the belief system. Do you believe in what you have? Do you believe in what you're capable of? Have you done it before and you want to do it again? You know it's possible. One of the things I love is if I see somebody else that succeeded, I know it's possible. And there's evidence of it because somebody else did it. Why them and not me? Colonel Sanders? Why him and not Popeyes? Right? Who made Kinko's? Mental issues still build a freaking brand, right? It's not necessarily about the skill always, because the skill set is believe it or not, the easiest part of it. It's just the determination, the will to win is a little bit different. And everybody's intensity levels are slightly different. And you use your own personality type and your own goal and your own time frame that you give yourself and make sure that you get there. Because the purpose of a deadline is to meet it, not to push it back. Right? And that's important. And give yourself, don't put pressure on yourselves. I always sell it like I have shitty days. I had a couple this week. I got down on myself for certain. But then I had to go back and remember, if I have that energy, I have to look at the small wins. Made my bed. I showed up to the calls I said I'd show up for. I helped somebody win. And then since I'm in charge of revenue growth, didn't meet the goal of the day. Now I got a harder week. Then I'm like, all right, well, let me look at it in a 30-day standpoint so I can meet my goal in 30 days to put less pressure on myself. And then I just make sure it just happens. Oh yeah, the example. Yeah. Okay, let me pull up. I did find some examples. Okay, so I have a bunch of chicken scratch notes as I was going. Let me find the right area.
I've got a couple of thoughts to share. So when Don was asking about leaving the voicemail, you could just tell them what number to phone to experience the AI directly without going to the website. You could literally just phone the phone number and it would do its thing. That would be evoking a lot of curiosity. That'd be fun to test.
Repeat you mean leave a voice message with the inbound agent phone number?
Yes.
Yeah. That's always an opportunity.
Like it'd be fun to test that. The other thought that I had was, a lot of people were doing sort of pay per lead. I wonder if Thinker AI could create some system where it would actually track the appointments booked. So you would charge them minimum for the minutes, and then you would charge them a fee for the bookings.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely innovation that you can definitely do, like a paper lead, per minute scenario. Absolutely. All developable. Within go. I know a couple of paper lead companies that have organized that. So I'm just looking through some of these notes to make sure I have the right
While you're
stuff
looking,
here.
the other thing I'd love, if there's time, is you mentioned on the call earlier today that you have like a pre-recorded video that you want people to watch that educates them. Is there a slide deck for that, or
Oh
is it
yeah,
some kind of a
I'll make
swipe
sure
file?
I'm going to be working all weekend long to make sure everything's white labeled, organized, so all my
Cool.
assets become yours.
Okay.
Oh yeah, because I want this to be plug and play sales too, and because
I didn't understand the 7-minute callback either. You said they opt in, they
so if I
experience the
get
call.
Yeah, let me first share my screen and just remind me to come back to the 7-minute callback,
Yeah.
and I know exactly what you're talking about. So this isn't a cold email, but let me just go through this document because some of this information is like internal chicken scratch and some of it is shareable and some of it is not shareable, but we'll just take a gander together. Okay, so this is a follow-up email I left you. So I'm pretty clear. And you can see a price structure on an account as well. Left you a voicemail, blah, blah, blah. In our text thread, I understand you want to roll out one client enable this. Let me dive into the pricing since that's important. Originally, I quoted you. So I went back and did a little bit of a reverse negotiation a bit on deferring the setup fee a little bit less just to implement a little bit faster. So this is one of the options that we did. Here's an email where we had different pricing rolling out initially. Let me see what else I got. Okay. So here's Nick Early. He's a Thinker member. He asked, before he became a member, when Mohan was just starting to do some webinars, and I've done a few. I just hit up Nick. I've known him for a bit through coaching and whatnot, and I just said, hey, why don't we present voice AI to your audience and see how they like a free event, and maybe you can spice up the monotony of the same topics over and over. He said yes. And so this was my follow-up, because I said, look, my intention here was just to really show you what's possible for all you guys, and really didn't have any offer for you. So anybody who really is interested, here's the pricing. And if you want to put your email in the chat because you want more information, please feel free to do so. And then I just wrote up a templated email. And this is off the backbone of leveraging somebody else who has an audience and making it my own. Then the first person that put their email, her name was Ree. Great meeting you, blah, blah, blah. Here's my calendar. Step 2, demo link. This is where they get to experience it. Here's the sign up page. So I'm saying, check it out and buy it. But I also allowed them to book and be curious. Once signed up, the details for how you use it, we will guide you. Again, if you have any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate. So I kind of bold things so it stands out a little bit. My cell is listed below. And then look, a link to just my Facebook with another video. So nothing fancy, nothing. I'm not the kind of person that demands the most tools in the world. I just use what's at my disposal. And if there's more that we build, all the better to make sales better. So this is an example of where I just reached out to a network friend, said, hey, would it be helpful if we just went over some AI stuff on how voice AI can revolutionize how your group can make more revenue working the same amount of time that they're already working. The only difference is there's a potential for a revenue increase through leveraging this opportunity. He said yes. Simple question, simple answer. Let's see what else is underneath here. Okay, this is just announcing it. And you guys can be doing webinars yourselves and content and driving people in. On Facebook, here, I just pre-wrote that. Think are important links. These are internal links. Okay, that's different. Enterprise accounts, online webinar, chamber of commerce. Okay, so these are some target audiences, guest podcast, blah, 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 recruit. Okay, some of this stuff is okay. Those are, I don't think anything is important down here. Let me see if I have some other cool stuff up here. And I'm going to flip my screen in just a second to show you. So you guys, if you guys need this, I'll upload this into the group. It's just a slide that I screenshotted. I literally have this on my phone and text this. It's not even accurate. I just kind of send it out saying, hey, it's in, here's what you get. And then I clarified if they're interested. Okay, so here's where I just send a video, get your own voice AI offer to sell for huge profits. Obviously, I'm targeting an industry, let's say agencies. And if I take this to realtors, I can say, here's your side income. If I take it to a multi-level marketer, I can say, you can resell this. If you get people underneath you, do your thing. We don't care. It's not a multi-level marketing thing, but they have the tenacity and the wherewithal to be able to do those like Tupperware parties, but for product, if you will, like the old school salespeople. Believe it or not, they still exist, especially water filtration. I've seen those guys have massive amounts of audiences built in. And I just kind of write the copy, and I put some of the stuff in here. Most of it gets public on my profile. Anything you see on my profile, you're more than welcome. Copy paste, tell ChatGPT, rewrite this in different words, and you already have your own content that way as well. Okay, I think I was writing a speech or something here. Email offer. Okay. Yeah, I was writing. I didn't use this one. It sounded too salesy even for me. But I was writing some stuff. But let me flip over to something a little bit more important. Now let me go to this, like right here. I'm gonna live DM this girl, and I don't know our DM history or where we left off. Let me put on Facebook, and this is so cool that we can do in here. In the sense of, let me grab the Facebook group first, Conejo. Like in your community, there's all these different business groups. There's a lot of different people that you can communicate with. In my neighborhood, it's a little area called Conejo Valley. There's lots of rabbits here, and that's how Conejo means, is rabbit. Sec. Okay. So right here. Now, while I can go here and see who are all the members and whatnot. Actually, I know this dude. He's a successful entrepreneur. I'll hit him up later. But this lady, I think we're on DMs already. Okay. Smiley face. Okay, so that conversation, if she's awake and she sees it, obviously I'll see if she read it with a photo, and then I just have a glimpse of, okay, response. Next step, I'm gonna, like, my thought process is this. I know I've had one conversation in my life with her, and it all started probably up here somewhere, like in January 27th. Okay, so it's been a little while ago before we got to actually connect. I found out what she did, and I see the details here. We had a conversation in and around summertime, and she's been vacationing. I don't know what for what. So I kind of remember our whole thing, our whole conversation stack. But what she has access to is this. What she develops is networking in person locally to bring proximity and commerce together. What she does not have is a method to monetize. I'm that method. I'm that hope. I'm that revenue she can bring in. And I'll bring this to her. And once she responds, I'm going to say the same thing I shared before. Hey, I wanted to get your idea on this and see if this is something that you like. I'd love to hear your feedback. And if this would even maybe work in your industry. Demo link sent. Second message. And it'll take about 2 minutes. If you fill in the info, the voice AI will call you back so you can interact with it. Pretty neat, huh? Question mark. And then she's going to go through it. It'll hit our database. Now, here's Mark where I mentioned the 7-minute thing. Fill in the form. You'll get immediate callback within the 1 to 2 minute thing. It's probably 1 minute. That gives the 7 minute significance, means that's enough time to get through the call and the conversation, but also not too much time where they'll forget the number that just called them. So they get a second call. That second call is going to ask, how did you enjoy your experience? And then it's going to, oh, look, we're live. Got a little bubbles. Hold my breath, right? But anyways, the whole idea is the way we've set up our demo, it'll call them back and self-book or try to attempt to book them. And if they book them, it'll send a calendar to them, a calendar to me, and then we have our confirmation workflow go out to remind them to show up. Now, if I wanted to be on top of the ball, I can always call them. Like every lead I've ever had, for the most part, I guess not every, say about 80% of every lead. If I'm not going call to call to call, back to back to back, they're getting a call confirming everything. I'm not using a setter. I'm using Ava and Thinker in some circumstances, depending on what type of lead it's for. High value, human to human, baby. They already booked. Because I need to make sure they show up. I need to ask them if they've watched the videos.
Help me understand this. So if they phone the demo number, are you hooking up a real live calendar to that? Because if the call that goes back with the same number isn't attached to your actual calendar, that's not going to work.
So the way we have it set up is when they call this number back from our sub account that we're using for this, it's attached to a round robin calendar. That round robin goes to the sales team. I'm included in that as like the last ditch effort. And that's how I'm using it. And that's how that's how they call back from the demo.
Using the demo calendar where they can just test the
Oh, no.
AI.
This is live. No, this is all live. So the AI is the demo where they get to have that very first user experience. The second call is booking them.
Okay, but you told me that second call comes from the same number. That means it has to be the same project, does it not? Which means it has to be connected to the same demo calendar.
I'm going to let Mohammed answer that question. I'm not the tech head that set it up. Mohammed, do you know with our demo on pricing.thinker.ai, where it goes to the voice demo. When we fill it in, it hits our database immediately. It calls them right away to experience it. Then we have a 7 minute or so delay where it calls it back, and then it's connected to a Google Calendar, asking a demo calendar. It's going to my real calendar. So that you help me here.
As the demo call is booked, is attached to a demo calendar. So my question is how to get it if it goes from the same project to book in a real calendar on the callback 7 minutes later.
Yeah, Mohammed, do you hear that?
Yes, I can hear you. Is my voice clear or not?
I don't know. I can hear you.
Let me change my internet. Now you can hear me better, right?
Correct. Yeah, now I can hear you a little bit better.
Okay, so the process of like we are not able to integrate directly Google calendars or Outlook calendars.
In GHL calendars, it's a
No,
little bit fuzzy there.
yeah,
Your audio is coming in.
my audio is
Yeah, like the microphone is a little muffled. I don't know if it's like under your chin or something, or maybe use the native ones inside of the computer.
You understand my question though, like logically it doesn't make sense. Because the
Yeah,
demo
and
calendar is designated just to be wide open and nobody pays attention to it, just so that someone can experience getting an appointment booked. But if it's the same number that's phoning back, it has to be attached to that same calendar, I believe, unless
yeah,
you add a tag when they call the first time and then it routes them somehow to a different
yeah.
calendar in the workflow.
I'll find that answer. Mohammed's going to come out and come back. He'll do the tech answers. I'm
Yeah,
just going to go over
that'd be
like the sales process. Yeah. But
that'd be
that's how
helpful.
yeah, for sure. That's how we've set it up for ourselves, and that's what everybody else can do. But going back to like the sales process, and I'll let Mohammed answer in just a little bit. It's as simple as finding these groups. It's as simple as finding the niche. It's as simple as writing up a conversation structure. And through all these assets that we'll be sharing with you at some point, don't necessarily wait, go do and execute on your own as well. ChatGPT is going to do a lot of the work for me while I clean things up. But I have a full doc I got to find. That wasn't the doc I wanted to share, but I'll find one where I have a lot of my notes, like some Facebook posts that did really, really well to engage and help convert people that were our first touch point that got on the calendars. And also email follow-ups that people who literally have told me no, and then they immediately told me yes. So I want to help with the business development so we can put money in the pockets. Now, in terms of the infrastructure, Mohammed, are you back with audio doing okay?
Yeah. Are you able to hear me better or not?
I can hear you faintly, but I can
think
hear you.
now it's better.
Can you? No, much better.
Okay. So basically, Mark sir asked the question whenever we submitted the demo form and we are using one demo calendar or if someone's calls that same number, okay. So is it we are using the same calendar? Yes. If we set it up the inbound agent for that particular same number as a receptionist, or on that receptionist, you can use the same calendar. So for example, whenever someone's called on whenever someone submitted the form and you call that particular client, for example, Rahul submitted the form and I'm calling to Rahul through Ava, and unfortunately Rahul don't pick the call, and when Rahul call the same number, so I'm already set it up my inbound agent, and on that inbound agent I already select the same calendar. So whenever Rahul call that same number, it's Rahul will only allowed to use same calendar to book an appointment with you.
But that's the demo calendar that
This is the specific circumstance right here. When I fill this in, they get Thinker will call. They'll be able to engage. When they hang up, we have it go back and call them 7 minutes later automatically. And then they can go into the round robin calendar and book. Mark's question is around, is it a demo calendar or is a tag creating a new workflow to book them on a different calendar?
No, it's a demo calendar. But Mark, I think also asked the one question, whenever someone calls us back on that particular number, right, Mark?
No, my understanding, Raul, you said that you actually have the system call them back 7 minutes later. So can you even do that from the same number?
Yes. We are using the same
And
number
and
and same calendar.
yeah, so it has to be a live calendar, and someone's going to have to go in and delete the test bookings.
Yes.
Otherwise, that quote real calendar is going to get all plugged up.
Now I understand what you just said. Okay, yeah, there is a test booking on the marketing agency
Yes.
option. Now I understand what you were saying. Okay, yeah. So in that circumstance, I haven't run into that, quite honestly. Like the because whenever I send it to them, I typically pick the last one. I just tell them what to pick, honestly. So that's a good point. And I didn't understand the question until now I understood that there is the test booking.
Yeah, and to me, that was just sort of like this black hole calendar that just sat there. And then when
Right.
you said you actually use a calendar to book it when it calls back, I'm like, well, how do you do that if you've got this black hole calendar that's got all the demo bookings all over it?
You know what? That's like, I honestly haven't run into it until I'm the only one that did it myself. Because I remember when I went through the demo, I didn't realize I actually was being booking. I thought it was just don't send the calendar. It was a pretty cool experience. But then I called Mohan. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? There's an appointment. He's like, should either show up or delete it because it's a demo. So
That's
that's when I understood the capabilities of this, that it could actually book through us just sitting here and deploying it for our clients or ourselves. But yeah, that was a good point. Like I didn't even, that's never come up with me ever
So
in
if
terms
there's
of
a
a fake.
way in high level to actually make it such that when they get called back from the same number within 7 minutes, that it takes them to your quote real calendar, that would be a much more elegant solution.
Yeah, absolutely.
yes.
Yeah, I'll ask. We can get some information on that after this, maybe through Mohan, or even Mohammed after this.
Cool. And then
But
the
that's a good
final
point.
reminder was the video that you send them.
The video that I send them is not a white label video. So on my phone, I stay fairly organized on albums. So whenever I go to my album, I have my voice AI album. Where is it? I hate this new iPhone update. Oh, here we are. So I have my Thinker AI album. My very first video is Mohan. It's making a slideshow. There it is. I just hit the up arrow, text message away.
So what is the content in that? So you're actually leveraging Mohan in the video as the founder or the dev of Thinker?
Well, no, I'm not leveraging him in any way. He just happened to be on the video, and I don't really care that he's on there or not.
Oh,
We
okay.
have yeah. So it has nothing to do with him specifically. In fact, he talks a little bit too long on the front end,
Okay.
but I
So
still send
to
it
me, the
anyways.
question is, what is the content in that video and how is it strategically, like what's strategic about it? What are you communicating and why? That's what I'm most
Yeah.
interested in.
Yeah. So I send that along with the link in certain circumstances. So I pick and choose what the client or prospect receives. When I send them the demo link, one, if I'm with them, I play it and hand them my phone right in front of me. Then I say, try it out for yourself. Number two is when I text it to them, I say, hey, it's 3 minutes, 32 seconds. Have a look at this. Tell me what you think. And let me know if this is something that could be implemented in an industry like yours. So I want them to watch the video. So it takes a big block of their phone up when I text a video. The link takes a little tiny chunk that can get lost underneath the communications. And then when they go and see, like when they touch our communications, you have videos, you have links with all the features in the iPhone.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure that they have all of those things available. At the very least, if they see the form and they're like, don't want to fill this in because I might be on an email list, they have the video that they can play. So that's all the purpose is having those videos. And then I also save testimonial videos in here. Like I've
So it looks like you're
testimonial.
sending it from your personal cell phone or using the GHL app.
No, I'm doing it from my personal cell phone.
Got it.
Yeah. And when I do that from my personal cell phone, I'm mastering my network. I'm not going to go to like cold text messaging to random strangers by any means at all, because I have a big enough phone book where if I spend enough time and export enough information out of here, I have the whole business just in one device.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of like doing business with people that already know me, and I just have to make sure I remember how to find them.
Is that video available somewhere on the membership we can watch?
Yeah, I can just tag you in it on, I can grab it off my profile too. Here, let me just find it on my profile. That'll be the
Because if you're
fastest.
using it successfully, it'd be helpful to see what the content is.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And also, quite honestly, that was the first thing and the first marketing and only asset I had available. So I had no choice. So, and I still use it today. It doesn't mean I forget the past marketing stuff because there's new. I just kind of pick and choose who I want to see what. For instance, if it's maybe more of a younger type of entrepreneur, I might give them just the link up front. If it's somebody a little bit like from my age on up, they're going to get possibly both or one.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's great.
But yeah, let me find it. Yeah. So I'm just using anything at my disposal. And then I can just get creative on my own. I'll show you. This is the last thing I can go over unless there's another sales question. So I'm supposed to go to dinner around 6:30, which I'll probably be late for, which is quite all right. I wish you guys can make an excuse to my girlfriend for me and we can hang out all night. Okay, AI automations. Give me one sec.
Mark, the videos, I believe, are in the community under the marketing and sales. There's a link to the Google Drive, and
Yeah, there'll be some of those videos already there. Absolutely, and we'll be importing more. So I have some work over the weekend to do. So let me explain one thing from a marketing standpoint. Like if you guys have heard of David Letterman, it might make a little bit more sense. He had the top 10 countdown back in the days before he retired. So you can just see my prompt: top 10 reasons why voice AI saves time, saves money, frees up time, and makes more money for business owners to implement voice AI. This I can copy paste, throw it into a PDF file. Here is your lead magnet. Then I reprompted it. Top 10 ways to use voice AI to replace humans in a business. I can copy paste, make another lead magnet. Then I went into top 10 use cases that voice AI can blah, 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 blah here. Then it makes it for me. Then I went into real estate agents and brokers, and I can make a thing out of this or a lead magnet out of this. What I ended up doing is I made carousel cards, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So I have a graphic designer that works for me full time. So I had him do this. I made him make a carousel. So here's top 10 signs AI will run your business. If I go the right way, oh, wrong way. Number 10, number 9, number 8, number 7, etc. So I can post this on social, and now it creates a carousel, creates some engagement. Then what I did is I said, hey, take these top 10s and just put it in Canva or whatever app, don't really care. Make it a video, have it pause on each one for 2 seconds, and then go to the next with a swipe. Now I have a video out of it. So now I can do, if I wanted to, I can go to number 1. I can go start at number 10. And then I can also say, make a video off of just number 10 alone. Voice AI doesn't sleep. I can do a 17 to 25-second video, upload a reel on it. So my diversity of marketing assets and repertoire just incrementally increased by just doing one top 10. And even that, I can even get a little bit more crafty and creative. I can do something like this. I just did the top 10 on a note card. And I just flipped the cards, turned that into an ad. So simple hooks just by sitting here with the note cards with a pen. Simple.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So I just try to think, I need a little think time. And when I have the idea, I have to either write it down that it's important enough to put it into action, or I just do it right now because I know myself, if I don't do it now, there's a probability I won't do it. And if I have time, I just got to do it now. Because if I have a good idea and I forgot it, how good was that idea? Because I didn't implement. So I kind of just jump on things really quickly, and I just keep important assets with me. Like I can voice memo myself. I can use the notes. I can email myself. I can text myself. I can have a pen and paper with me. And just these simple little tools allow me to act quicker than just think about it and be no better tomorrow than I am today. So that's all I really do is just write something, put it online. Don't really care what other people think about it. And if it works, I just do more of that. If it doesn't work, I do less of that.
Hey, Raul, before you go, can I just ask a quick question? I tried to say it in the chat earlier. I was just like, I'm just looking for like the simple equivalent to like the big scary offer that's been talked about before, right? Like, oh, I'm gonna get you 40 leads in 30 days, whatever. Like, what would be the equivalent statement to get the hook, like through like a DM or through like an email without being long, like just to get that initial interest as like an outreach,
Yeah.
like that initial outreach, you know?
Yeah. So one thing you could possibly do with HVAC is give me your old leads. I'll turn your trash into your treasure. I can guarantee 3 estimates on your calendar within the next 45 days.
It's like a database reactivation kind of aspect to it. Or
Yeah,
like, I
and
guess I'm thinking about the ads too, like how, like because my biggest roadblock has been like, oh, I'll get you leads. Okay, well, everybody can get me leads. Like I get lumped into that lead bucket, even though I'm trying to sell the system. Like, I'm trying to like incorporate this as maybe the
Sure.
beginning of that conversation. So just do I lead it like knowing that I want to get to the point where I run their ads? Like, what's that first step that this,
No.
you
First
know,
step is foot in the door, then earn your way up.
right?
Because you'll be able to read the situation. I do not want to do anybody's ads. I want them to ask me to do them.
Right. Right.
Because that's why I leverage with this. And like on this note card are my notes from my previous conversation that I mentioned on the 2 o'clock call with the onboarding for Thinker people. One of this is your specific industry, HVAC. The oldies were 6 to 7 months old, 1,500 leads got activated using Thinker, 30 appointments book, and it automatically did it. So presumably those 6 to 7 month old leads were literally layups for a competitor, or they'd never find a solution just by having Thinker alone. The reaction of the client was, too many leads, please make it stop, which is the best thing we can hear. And the best of all, we're not their marketer. Somebody else was. We just took their trash, turned it into treasure. What's our next opportunity? Hey, if you want to turn these on with ads, instead of doing it the way you were doing it before, which is crazy to say, but that's old school. It's almost like things are moving a little quicker now. It's almost like running ads alone is like having a cassette tape and expecting everybody to have a cassette player, right? Now, what we can do is click add, call right now, book appointment, done.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then all your prospects that you could ever want, Google any HVAC company, anyone who runs ads, possibility of a client. Go to the Facebook ads library, anybody who runs ads, possible of a client. Anybody on Yelp ads, possibility. Anyone, Angie, so on and so forth. Anyone spending money anywhere on the planet on a website as lead directory company are wasting their money and they don't know it. And it's our job to let them know that things could be
Maybe
better.
it's like some kind of like stat there. It's like, I see you're running ads. Do what would be that angle? It's like, I see you're already running ads. Most likely you're missing XYZ opportunity that I can recover for you. You kind of come at that way.
Yeah, I could do that. I think I see you're running ads. They're like, I don't know if you want any advice, but here it is. Anyways, hopefully it's helpful. Let me know if it is or isn't. But my suggestion is have voice AI automatically book it for your sales calendars so you're always packed and full. So the quality of leads go up and your budget can go further. Let me know if you want to see a demo. It's totally free.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I just have to play with that message. Sometimes I come in hot, super duper direct, like I just described right now. Sometimes I might do a comment on their ad to see if they're going to respond. And then I
That's a
pay
good one
it
too.
because I commented like I went a little too aggressive, and I was like saying like where I started seeing ads with my friends, and I'm like, Brian, call me, let me run your ads, and let me do voice AI. It was like literally the message on the ads, which is probably not the smartest thing to do, but I was just playing with angles. I have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Yeah, I'm thinking I could come in like even like just a little bit have it as an entry offer, maybe a little bit softer than like, hey, like marry me tomorrow and let me do all of your marketing. Like I'm trying to meet them a little bit earlier in that, and I feel like this is a good way for them to be like, well, what else do you do? Like this was cool. What else do you do? Like because that's That's what I want.
Well, yeah, and the what else do you do answer has to be carefully answered, because what else do I do? Saying like my primary focus is helping people fix the ads they have, because quite honestly, maybe the quality is better than we think. We just don't have the infrastructure for it. So once we lay the foundation, then let's explore other areas that we can work with. Because if somebody, every time somebody's asked me, what else do you? Well, we do Facebook ads. What else? Graphic design. I start rattling like I'm reading my own website. I'm like, fucking, hey, I'm just answering stupid
That's usually
questions.
that sounds like
Yeah.
me. No, I
Yeah. And I'm
guess
just like, why?
you're right.
I'm like,
Why did I
I'm
do
like,
that?
yeah. And I'm just thinking, now this person is going to ask me for a price on everything. And now this person is not going to buy anything. And now I just
Anything.
defeated the purpose of the call. You know? So it's just like, that's why I'm a big foundation guy. If we're living
Like,
on
let's start here
sand,
and then talk about more.
yeah. You can't have sound as the foundation of your house, and you can't build the second story before the first one's built. And that's what we're doing in marketing. We have to change the strategy. And it doesn't mean you did anything wrong. It just means we can build the foundation after the story's been built.
That's
Yeah, because
helpful.
yeah, and plus their same exact ad budget. Imagine if it can go twice as far for lead generation and booked appointments by just having the speed to lead issue that nobody's
Yeah, more
necessarily
higher
focused
converting.
on. Yeah, because I was the same marketer that focused on Facebook leads, and guess what I had to do? Debates with clients, not conversations, debates. Debates sometimes turn into arguments because we all have an opinion. Well, these leads aren't converting. Well, what's your sales process? Well, how come you're not emailing them? Why does it take so long? Why are there no notes? Then it's why? What does the client hear? Why are you blaming me? I'm the client. You serve me, not the other way around. But you're fired, right? It happened to me. We've had thousands of clients. We've had fired thousands of times, right? Right. This allows us to put ourselves in a consultative space where we don't even have to touch their Facebook ads.
Yeah, I
Because
mean, I
why?
like that too. I guess I haven't like fully engaged into implementing this just because I've been like, how I guess worried about selling it before starting to pay for it, which I've told you. Like that's why I jumped on. I
Yeah,
really wanted to like get some more insight on the selling part. So
yeah. I mean, and I saw this quote and I totally meant to screenshot it and I fricked it up, and I meant to put it on my post this morning and I wish I remembered it, but it's something I saw on Tony Robbins where it's like something along the lines of, if you want to be great, you got to start before you're ready. So he said it way more eloquently than what I did, but I always talk about that. Do things before you're ready so you can make it happen. Right. That's just how nerves are. And it doesn't mean go buy this second. It just means I want to encourage you to do it because your own ads will be able to be taken care of. So you don't have to day part ads when you're not available. You don't have to necessarily do any of those fancy tricks or tools in Facebook and lower your reach artificially based on segmentation or whatnot. It can book your calendar for you as an agency owner yourself. So the things that you're presenting, you're no longer the shoemaker with no shoes. You're the one that's practicing what you preach. That's something
right.
that I've been a big fan of, is that like, and I tear apart so many marketing agencies whenever they're talking to me and somebody else. My number one question is like, how did you two connect? Well, they send an email, and like, so a cold outreach. Let's just look them up real quick. I'm like, it looks like they're not even running marketing. Are you comfortable with the fact that they're not running marketing for themselves, but it's good enough for you, but not for them? That sounds a little odd to me.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean, in the
I
last
can,
few months, it's the first time I really invested a lot more into my own ads, which is kind of like where I'm at. Like, I want to use this to maybe get my ads better and then sell it. But yeah, I mean, it definitely changes your mindset when you actually drink your own Kool-Aid a little bit more.
yeah, no,
So it's
100%. But
good.
then, but it doesn't mean your ads are wrong or they're not working. It may be the process, like this can like what is when TV came out, it was probably the same price as when Facebook came out. Guess what happened to TV, which is an archaic way of running ads right now. I don't know what TV ads cost at this moment, but I know what Super Bowl ads could cost, $6 million for a 30-second spot. Look at what Facebook ads are doing. They've risen over time. During the pandemic, there was a discretionary period where they lowered the cost because they had no choice, because businesses were not open. They had to survive as a publicly traded company where their customers, not me running ads, their customers are investors. They could give two shits about your ad account and mine, where we can't sometimes spend more, and they ban our account with AI for no reason. So they clearly don't care about us. They care about their investors and Mark Zuckerberg getting rich, like we all talk about, right? But the reality is simple. We can do something about it by having a better process on the back end, because Facebook's given us an outlet to who we want to target. Now, what do we do post-click? Are we just going to get a lead that nobody's going to call? We're going to put in an automation text and hope and pray they book? Are we going to call them at our own convenience? Or are we going to call them immediately while they're still on our page at their convenience at the height of inquiry and then book it? That's really the point of all this, is speed to lead is the difference. And that's how you're
no, I
saying
know most of them aren't calling, they're not following up that fast. That's one of my selling points in the thing of why I want them to work with me, but I just didn't have the AI voice. It's mostly like the GHL stuff. But I mean, and they'll tell you that they have a high closing rate with what they do get, but they don't know their numbers. And there's other ways, I guess, to also walk that back into how much they could get out of it,
And that's quite okay. As long they don't need to know everything as a business owner. They just need to know that they're making more money than they were before they worked with you. And that's the ninja math most entrepreneurs are going to work off of, because you have the lead source tagged. When it turns into a customer, guess who gets to be the hero? You. And you didn't even do their ads. You just did their voice AI.
That's good.
Yeah, and then you can always back into the ads, because I've had people, not necessarily just with voice AI, but even the core four, where they're like, because I consult them. I'm pretty decent at presenting marketing stuff and all that kind of stuff to people and giving my perspective as a consultant. And while I'm consulting, all they're hearing is, I want you to do the ads. And I'm just waiting for them to ask, because I don't care if they give it to me or not, because once I take on that responsibility, that means the people that they were upset with, that could now be me. So I have to do a bang up job and make sure the shit's on point if I'm willing to take that, and they have to pay our price, because we fished upstream a bit. So our retainers are $5,000 a month, and that's really why I don't sometimes commingle when I know that they can't afford us. We're saying, you know what, we can't take on capacity right now. We're a systems team at the moment. As soon as we get capacity to be able to take you on, you're my first call.
That makes sense.
Because I just want to be in the don't get blamed position, and it allows me to keep the client significantly longer, because I'd rather have a profit margin of $500 a month than a profit margin of $500 a month for a year or two or more, than $2,000 a month for a month and a half or 3 months, let's say. But then I have to do 2 calls a week with them because there's something to grumble about. And then when it takes my time, it takes 2 other people's time, my graphic designer and the person running the Facebook ads. Because if they say jump, we're going to sometimes unfortunately say how high again.
Well, this has been helpful. I appreciate it. I know you're past the time, but I just wanted to jump in.
You know what? Sometimes
you.
I feel like I'm like a dog. I lose concept of time. And this is one of those nights. But with the organization of getting you guys more emails, the posts are on my profile. I'll get one of our team members to help organize some more documents so we can make it 2 parts of this. First, I want you guys to understand we're a technology company that enables you guys to have a cutting edge product that's very simple to use. Second, we'll arm you as a benefit to give you some more of the assets and resources to make it even more powerful. Because obviously your success is ours. The longer you stay with us and the more success you can get to get those accounts, the better it is for everybody. We're all going to win. We're all going to have fun, and we can have a residual that builds up and builds up and builds up. So you have to think, in a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, how could this continuously stack up, knowing that you'll have a cancellation rate naturally. That just happens. It's the way business works. But then as long as we're going north, like if our bottom of the barrel is, let's say, just for numbers' sake, our lowest months are $1,000 in a worst case scenario. How do we raise the bottom level to 1,500? So if we have cancellations, the bottom we can go is 15, then 5,000, then 10,000, then 20,000. And that's how it goes. It's a little bit of a journey because business is infinite. It's not finite. It's presumably people start a business to stay in business for a very long period of time. Maybe die with the business or maybe sell the business, whatever the choices are. But it's definitely not a 30-day business plan. It's a forever plan. And that's the patience that we need to kind of implement, because some people are going to go faster. Some people are going to go at their own pace. Perfectly fine. You just have to design your lifestyle around you. The first thing I want for everybody is kill your overhead with Thinker. Get a client, it wipes out your whole entire overhead. Now your whole franchise fee, if you look at that way, is completely free, all profit margin for the next client, and you're sitting pretty. You'll be making more money than probably there's 90,000 people presumably in the Go High Level group. Let's just say 89,000 people still haven't sold it. Because what are they doing? Thinking about it, building the perfect day. We took that out of this. There's no complexity in it. Okay, with that being said, everybody enjoyed tonight. Was that cool? Were you guys happy?
Yes.
Learned something new? Hopefully it inspires you to take some of the information and take a baby step forward. Maybe post that piece of content that you haven't done. Maybe call back that person you didn't call back. Implement your Thinker so you can actually do your own database reactivations and let it work for you. Leverage your time. It's really, really important. That being said, I got a jam. I'm 29 minutes late from leaving. So anyways, have a good rest of your night, guys. And then I'll see you guys on the next one.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Bye, guys. Thanks for staying on, Mohammed.
Bye.